Today, we're not just making another boring fashion website. Oh no. We're building something so sleek that even your grandma will say, wow, that's runway ready. We're talking hover animations smoother than silk, transitions fresher than a new pair of Jordans, and GSAP effects so spicy they could walk the catwalk themselves. So buckle up, because by the end of this video, your website is gonna look like it came straight out of Vogue, instead of a bargain bin template. We will do this page transition animation with star along with navigation menu changing color according to section's background color, and setting up some CSS resets and defaults today. Alright, so we have a style.css file where we are using General Sans fonts, and we also have these root variables for fonts and colors that you should note down. We are using GSAP and scroll trigger for animation, as you can see their links in HTML. And of course we also have a main.js file for JavaScript, and GSAP code along with text file to make my life easy. Let's see the images we will be using. We are going to use SVG, so we have background colors in the form of images along with some clothes and newsletter images. Alright, time to start coding this fashion website with CSS resets. Now we're diving into the wardrobe of our website, the CSS. This is where the real glow-up happens. Think of it as styling your plain potato HTML into a runway model. Font size 14 pixels and overflow X. Hidden is basically duct tape so scroll bars don't embarrass you in front of the squad. In body we clean up the default margins and paddings, because browsers come with baggage, and we're not having that. Then we set the background and text colors using CSS variables, making theme switching as easy as swapping outfits. The font is a chic custom sans serif, and again we hide horizontal scroll, because scrolling sideways is so last season. These utility classes are the basic black tea of CSS, simple, reliable, and you'll use them everywhere. Flexbox is CSS's yoga instructor. It bends, stretches, and centers like an insta-perfect pose. Flex centers both ways, while Flex call stacks things vertically, darling. Default lists come with awkward indents and bullet points, so we reset them for a clean, modern look. While this makes main go full width and push content to the top, basically telling it, stop lounging, start working. This is where the buttons get a full makeover. Gradients, shadows, and rounded corners so big they're basically circles. The all-on set is like ripping off all the ugly default browser button styles, and the clamp for border width makes it adaptable, like a belt that fits no matter how much dessert you had. On hover, the button shrinks just a bit, giving that playful boop effect. Shadows flip to lighter tones, making it look pressed and interactive. It's basically the button equivalent of winking at your user. The text inside the button gets dressed up in bold, with a bit of spacing so it breathes. Padding adds comfort, like wearing sneakers with your suit. And the text shadow? Just a subtle glow up, nothing too extra. Now we create dark button variant with the same idea but with white gradient plus gray text. This is the night mode of our button world. Same styling magic, just inverted. Because fashion isn't one size fits all, you need your light and dark options. Secondary buttons are the minimalists of the button family. Transparent, just a clean border, like saying, I'm not here to steal the spotlight, but I still look good. Perfect for subtle CTAs. This is our luxury accessory for borders around images. The before pseudo element creates a gradient border with clever masking tricks. It's the CSS equivalent of wearing a gold chain over your plain t-shirt. Subtle? Nope. Gorgeous? Absolutely. we prepare the layout for those cinematic page transition scroll effects with star animation. You know, when content starts sliding in as you scroll. The padding makes sure there's enough breathing room before the section pops in. It's like rolling out the red carpet for your elements. Now we prepare the layout for those cinematic page transition scroll effects with star animation. You know, when content starts sliding in as you scroll. The padding makes sure there's enough breathing room before the section pops in. It's like rolling out the red carpet for your elements. We start with a series of figure elements, each with the class star SVG and a unique ID like SVG1, SVG2, SVG3, and SVG4. Inside each figure, we've got a sneaky little SVG with height of 0 and width of 0. Why 0? Because this SVG isn't meant to be seen directly. It's just here to define our clip paths. Think of it like backstage crew, not visible, but essential. Each DFS contains a clip path with two path elements. One is the rectangle SVG rect that sets up the basic bounding box. The other is the star shape SVG star, which we'll animate later with GSAP. Finally, each figure wraps an image. This is the actual fashion image we want to reveal in cool ways. So in short, invisible SVGs define the mask, visible images get clipped inside them. Also, clip path is too long, so I will just copy-paste, but you can get the whole clip path along with the entire code for today's video from the link in the description. In CSS, first we hide all the rectangle paths because nobody came to see rectangles. We're here for the stars. Then, star SVG is positioned dead center on the screen. Translation: all figures start in the middle, like divas waiting for their spotlight. Next, each figure is clipped to its unique path. So each image listens to its own SVG mask. No mask sharing here, we're professionals. Inside each star SVG, the image is absolutely positioned, centered, and stretched to fill the viewport. It's basically saying, whatever screen you throw at me, I'll look fabulous. And in portrait mode, we flip the logic. Because vertical screens need some love too. Alright, so here's what's happening with this animation. We're using GSAP with scroll trigger to control when and how the stars move. As you scroll, the animation pins the section in place so it doesn't just fly by. Instead, the stars become the main attraction. The stars smoothly scale up and takes over the screen, making it look like you're drifting into a little galaxy. Scroll trigger basically says, hey, when this section is in view, freeze it and let the scroll control the animation timeline. That's why the effect feels tied to your scroll instead of running automatically. The cool part is how GSAP maps the scroll progress to the star animation. So the more you scroll, the more the stars grow, rotate, and move into place. In short, scrolling equal to Stardust magic. Alright friends, now we're building a sexy glassmorphic navigation bar that literally changes color as you scroll. Think of it as your website's version of a chameleon, but with better fonts and less bug eating. So, in the HTML we've got a nav with the class menu. Inside, on the left, we've got our logo or studio name, Ital Studio. Fancy, right? On the right, we've got an unordered list UL with 3 links, collections, about, and contact. Now let's style this thing. The menu is fixed at the top, because who doesn't like a sticky header? 90% wide with a little top margin and padding, so it breathes. We flex it, space between the logo and links, and give it rounded corners. Here's the fun part: the background is transparent white with 7.5% opacity. That's our glass effect. We add backdrop filter blur of 15 pixels so the background blurs, making it feel premium. A subtle border bottom and soft box shadow give it depth. And of course, the links use a custom font, General Sans bold, smooth transitions, and spacing so they don't feel like they're fighting for attention. Clean, modern, a little bougie. The menu color here is pure black, which obviously disappears on black background sections. And since the menu sticks at the top, we can't keep manually flipping colors between black and white for every section. To fix this smartly, we'll use JavaScript's intersection observer to detect the background and switch colors automatically. Here's where it gets clever. We're using the intersection observer API. Think of it like a bouncer watching what sections are currently in view. If the section with the class color scrolls into view, our root variable BLWH changes to light gray. If the section with the class black shows up, the color switches to pure black. That means our NAV text color changes automatically based on the background. No more NAV links disappearing on dark images. It's smart, dynamic, and keeps your design readable no matter what section you're in. Oh, and because it's an observer, it's lightweight and efficient. No heavy scroll listeners bogging down performance. Alright, in order to see what we have built so far, I am gonna copy-paste sections with classes we used in today's code and add lorem ipsum text to it to see how the transition for sections will look like and if the color for NAV bar will change according to code or not. And while we test our code and finalize it, please subscribe to my channel to see and code the rest of this fashion website while also taking the code for free. Your subscription is free anyways. It's object bounding box. Just add G and clip path units. If you have been dealing with my dead humor for 26 minutes straight, then